all the three aspects of war, talking of land, sea, and air. Hello there, it's another edition of Security File on STV. I'm Oyekomi Olatoye. The last program where we ran the interactive session with the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mr. Mohammed Abubakar, drew a lot of response from you, our viewers, and it was encouraging because it was a pointer to the fact that security is becoming everybody's business, and we could see from the calls, text messages, and emails the eagerness of everyone to contribute positively to a safer society. Later on in the program, we will bring you some of the mails and messages received. On today's program, we'll be looking at some of the policy directions of the Acting Inspector General of Police based on some directives he had issued since assuming duties. And we will be looking at the efforts of some other agencies in partnering with the police to ensure security across the country. I have a guest with me. You get to meet him right after this break. Don't go away. My guest today is Chief Ezeatakulu Osakwe, the Commandant General of the Crisis Control Foundation. And I say he's a man of many parts. In getting his profile, we have to do an abridged edition of the profile so that we don't take much of our time. In the 70s, he was in the U.S. Army, in Frankfurt, and in civil community with focus on intelligence techniques. And also in 1993, he worked with the military under the Nigerian Air Force Vehicle and Aerospace Ground Equipment Overhauling Center as commercialization officer with interaction with the Nigerian Army. In 1994, he was a patron of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. And also, he had also worked with RF, that is African Refugees Foundation, in skill transfer in the Oru camp. That is where the refugees are kept. And also in 1997, it was in Liberia under the United Nations in demining residential areas. So I want to say he's a man that fits the bill, talking about some of the security challenges we are having here in Nigeria at the moment. Chief Osakwe, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, let me start this way. I'm sure you must have seen some of the directives given by the Inspector General of Police in transforming the police. Let me just say, generally, how do you see some of this directive or the policy direction of the new Inspector General of Police?
They are quite positive, but the implementation is always where we have problem. There is no government in Nigeria that has never had good policies, but always implementation is always the problem because of the nature of the society in which those policies are to be implemented.
Now let's go to specifics, talking about what you said about roadblocks that you think, because this has actually drawn a lot of, well, let me say, diverse opinions. Some people believe, well, it's good, while some have said that, well, the right logistics are not put in place. Why ban the roadblocks? What's your opinion on it?
Let me categorically say that in 2007, we made a proposal sent to the Senate, sent to the Inspector General of Police, sent to the Ministry for Police Affairs and to some other government agencies in regards to the menace of roadblocks. We, in that documentation, tried to let the government know that it is better to legalize an illegal thing than to allow the menace to continue, because foreigners fly our roads and they see this ugly sight of broken plates and wood and metals hanging everywhere, making it so undecent even for any passerby to begin to think that it is a roadblock. Yes, what he has done now is a very good one. I had police in sympathy when we were designing that. And we still have the police in sympathy, because as far as we are concerned, the police is overloaded with the duties they are supposed to do. You see policemen doing traffic control. You see policemen being involved in handling debt collection. You see a policeman getting involved in settlement of marital affairs. You see policemen, they are everywhere. And they have even turned their police station to arbitration camp. That they are not focused. So we thought that when you give them an incentive for crime fighting, they will now, because of that incentive, volunteer themselves. Just as it is done in other countries. I witnessed it in Germany. In Germany, the policemen can hardly be bribed. In fact, you can't bribe them because they have what is called a package of incentive. A typical example is if, for those who bring in drugs, say cocaine, into the country, the police has some financial allowance made for them to buy out these materials. And then they continue buying out these materials from the same source. And also they have a frontline ladies that even interacts with the baron. That at the end of the day, this frontline lady will be the first person to pull the gun on the baron. And the police will now move in. Already they have bought, say quantity, what about, say, $1 million. So the police will now value it. Maybe above that, that's the market price. They now value the market price. And they are paid 10% of it. So 10% of such an amount of money, nobody can give them that in bribe. And so they are focused. And you see their criminal police always on mufti, driving clean cars. If you pass 10, 20 cars on the road, you meet one. And they are so well controlled, they are not aggressive. You will never know even that is a policeman. But here, the policeman will say, hey, you stop there, I'm a police. And it's so very, very uncivilized that policemen should be trained on how they can tactically befriend a criminal, go deep into that criminal, be able to harness details of that criminal in terms of tangible evidences. And these are the evidences he will present in court. It's happening all over the country, both in EFCC and all that. They lose their cases because they don't have tangible evidences, which are preconditions for a good case in court. And therefore, the judiciary cannot help. And that's why you see most of them, they go in, their highest, they are given 2 years imprisonment, because the tangible evidences to convict such a person is not there.
Now, we're looking at some of the policy direction of this administration, that is the new Inspector General of Police. We have also seen, we know that cells, putting people in cells, indiscriminate arrest, has actually given police bad names. But well, the IG has given its own directive that no one should be held in any of those cells or should be arrested, and put in cell for more than 24 hours. But we still see it. In fact, I still have a case which I'm treating where somebody has been in cell for about a week.
I always mention this psychic retrogression of all Nigerians, which police is a tiny part of the Nigerian system. And so the IG, the incumbent IG, is not the first IG that has given such an order. Even the roadblocks is not the first, but he is the first to implement it physically, that one of the roadblocks. But the other ones are yet to be implemented. Go there, you see them treating people just as non-citizens, just as people without value. Say, come here, sit down here, go here. And the environment where they do these things looks very unclean, very dirty. Because telling a man that is dressed on white or in a clean suit to sit on a bench for an interrogation. You look around, the floor is so dirty. There may be cockroaches there. You will see even bed bugs. And they will say, sit down there, that's what we have. That is unfair. First of all, I've interacted with the top class of the police, the middle and the lower. Within the top class, no problem. Yeah, we are within the international standard. But the moment you drop down to the level of DPOs, you see a little bit of danger.
And these are the people interface with the people carry out actually the...
And these are the people that are in the field that interacts with the Nigerians. And you see the level they call IPOs, from them you get the DSP, inspectors and all that. They work power. They abuse power. Because the approach is never decent enough. the name force, I think, is the indoctrination there that has affected their psyche. If police can be Nigerian police, no force, because power is different from force. Force is intimidation. Power is a subtle push to a successful end. And you go in Germany, there's a case you bring to them. I have brought in cases there, and the man will look at me and smile and say, sorry, we won't treat it. Can you go? But the policeman must take it. Even if it is, he knows it's false. Then, because he needs logistic costs, you tell the person, please give me money for the arrest. He's giving money, he moves in. In some cases, I see a scene where they want to arrest people. I say, what is it? And before you know it, it is a marital affair. And I say, this thing belongs to the social welfare. And why don't you even give them letters of invitation? Because you don't know who is a kidnapper now. And he said, okay, what concerns you in this? I said, what concerns me is because I run a public complaint bureau. I'm in public defense.
These are some of the areas that the new IG is looking at. Now, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll continue with the issue, especially when it comes to intelligence gathering and how this can help in the situation that we find ourselves in the country today. We'll go on a break now. When we come back, we continue with the interview. You're on to Security File on STV. I have with me the Commandant General of Crisis Control Foundation, Chief Ezeatapu Osakwe. Now, sir, let's continue with this. You said the current community policing strategy is not quite right. What is your own take?
Yes, what is called community policing is not a system of setting up vigilante groups or illegal groups like Bakassi or OPC and all that. And they are even allowed to carry guns about. These people are very crude. If you look at the antecedents, you discover that most of them are illiterates, if not hoodlums. And because they are the people that are free, they have the chance to move about, tie towels on their head or red caps and all that, to form a terror among their people, and then even use it to harass and intimidate others that are not involved. That is not community policing. Community policing is a system where everyone is involved, especially the old women and old men, where the traditional ruler is involved. But what it takes is that there is a center point of report of information flow, which again is so mechanized that there are rapid responses. We run such centers, so I know the experiences that even the police will not respond because, according to them, they are not given logistics costs for such responses unless you fund them. Even for them to make an arrest, they don't have fuel for their vehicle or there's no vehicle. So how do you respond to such? Community policing is structured in such a way that everyone is given an orientation to understand that the security of his own home and environment is in his own hands, and he has a fallback. It is this fallback that is controlled by the government, not controlled by hoodlums or controlled by a group of body.
I don't think even government at any time has actually sanctioned these people or approved their operation. I think
no, some of them now operating
no,
they are operating with government approvals, interacting even with the DPOs and all that. They are being called